Welcome into this midweek edition of Racing to Win, previewing the Wednesday night meeting coming up at Sha Tin this week with the 8 races. And to have a look at the card for us, joined in the studio by Paul Lally and also Nick Child. And Nick, what can we look forward to?
Well, there's plenty, Mark, if you're a fan of all-weather racing, that's for sure. It's actually a really decent meeting, this. Some good quality horses on show and some very much all-weather regulars will be lining up on Wednesday night. So, yeah, fully expect them to play a prominent part. And
there's jackpots, Paul, as we flip-a-roo from Wednesday to Sha Tin to Sunday at Happy Valley this week.
Yeah, exactly. But look, 1.8 million going into the triple trio, so that should get over the 4 million mark. 200,000 going into the first double trio, that should get up to over the 2 million mark. And in races 2, 4, 6, 8, putting 800,000 there into the quartet and first 4 merge pools, so some decent jackpots.
Before we hear from the boys, read this meeting. Monday morning at Moonee Valley, Romantic Warrior was out for his final hit out under James McDonald, heading towards the Cox Plate this weekend. Here is that hit out and an interview with James himself.
Yeah, we're going really well. We've improved with the 3 weeks between runs, and he's a happy horse. You can see that by his work and how he comes off the track. I think that was pretty evident. He's marching, he's in good order, and he's improved plenty, you know, so we're quietly confident going into Saturday that we've made enough improvement to be competitive, that's for sure.
How has that improvement been from the last piece of work at the Valley, at Werribee last week and then to today?
Oh, it's been progressive. It's and he's needed it, to be fair. It gave him a good look at the track. It actually felt like he's been here 100 times the way he gets around this track. It's incredible. But he's that sort of horse. He adapts to certain situations pretty good. But I think that's most key is he just so well balanced around this bend, and he quickens off it, as you'd probably been able to see this morning, and he's doing it with plenty in hand, so he's pulled up really well and I'm pretty happy where he is.
So regardless of the competition, you're confident that you're bringing your contender in at his peak?
Yeah, he's definitely close to it, that's for sure. He's made just huge improvement for 3 weeks. The 3 weeks have been wonderful for him, and you can just see by his demeanour just walking around, he's marching around. I'd like to see him, like when he's in the parade, get on his toes a little bit, because when in Hong Kong, he was really, once he gets to the ponies, he's quite marchy. He's a very competitive horse, and yeah, hopefully we'll see that on Cox Plate Day.
That is James McDonald. That footage courtesy of Racing.com. And speaking of Racing.com, to talk more about Romantic Warrior, pleased to say joined by, live from Melbourne, Racing.com's Brent Zerafa. Brent, thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing Romantic Warrior around the Valley on the weekend.
Yes, Mark. Hello to you. And it's a great delight that we have Romantic Warrior in the Cox Plate on Saturday. He's been extremely popular since he has arrived here in Melbourne. From a press perspective, everyone's wanting to get a piece of him and understand the Romantic Warrior story. And he adds a real intrigue to the race on the weekend, because he was clearly defeated in the Turnbull Stakes, but a lot of people are anticipating a stronger performance on Saturday.
Has that reaction changed much? Because there was a lot of negative press about his run in the Turnbull Stakes. It started to be some forgiveness now, knowing that he's had the run under the belt, and as time progresses towards Saturday, that things might be different this time.
I think that's the general feeling. I think on first glance, looking at the race on face value, he was disappointing. But then in the fullness of time, looking through the speed of the race, the sectional data, and it was clear that he'd worked quite hard on a fast speed, and considering he hadn't had a run since May, he'd missed the barrier trial in Hong Kong, he arrived in Australia and had a bit of a rush preparation to get to the Turnbull Stakes. It seems as though things have run a little smoother from that point, which was 3 weeks ago, up until this weekend. And there still may be a little bit of negative sentiment around him, that he's not as his performances may be not as strong as some of the other horses in the contest, and his peak performances have been in the fishbowl of Hong Kong, so to speak. But I think there's going to be a growing swell of sentiment for him on the weekend with a number of punters for sure.
We saw that gallop a short time ago. Completely different tracks, Flemington and Moonee Valley. They're like Sha Tin and Happy Valley. James McDonald very positive about the way he got around that course.
Yeah, he was, and the vision speaks for itself. He looked as though he's a horse that is quite comfortable on the tight turning nature of Moonee Valley, and it's not the first time that he's galloped there. I think he galloped there around 2 weeks ago, and James McDonald was quite glowing in his report on that occasion. And speaking with Warren Huntley, who's one of our team members at Racing.com, and he's quite an experienced track watcher and clocker here in Melbourne, he was glowing in his report of Romantic Warrior, and on the clock, his final 400 metres was quicker than any of the Cox Plate contenders galloped on Tuesday when they went to Moonee Valley. Clearly intent, and some of the others probably weren't out there to run as quick a time, but he looked like he was given a real strong test out by James McDonald, and he certainly responded.
Draws barrier number 7, Brent. It's such a strong field in the Cox Plate this year. What does barrier 7 mean for Romantic Warrior as far as tactics go?
Well, I believe there's 4 or 5 distinct on-speed horses, or at least want to settle in the first half, and Romantic Warrior looks to be clearly one of those. I think he's drawn a good gate in barrier 7 because he's got Alligator Blood, who's most likely to be the horse driving forward, draw barrier 5. To his outside is Zaki, who's drawn the widest gate in barrier 12. You'd assume he's going to come across and inject some speed into the race early. And then down in barrier 3 is the interesting horse in Militarise, the 3-year-old who was beaten in the Caulfield Guineas, but he's a 3-time Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old, and in his early 3-year-old season, he's getting out to 2,000 metres for the first time. And the indication from the stable and young rider Zach Lloyd is that they want to try and be positive if they can be, with the 49.5 kilos on his back. So there's likely to be more intent from Militarise, and then Mr. Brightside, who's drawn barrier 2. He's another horse that can go forward. But I think the race sets up well for Romantic Warrior. If he begins clean, he can go forward, he can settle in a rhythm, whether that's outside the leader or maybe one pair back. I think he's going to be in the firing line.
And as we will be simulcasting the race here, Brent, on Saturday, Zach Purton has a ride on Fangirl. How is Fangirl placed in this race?
I think she's got a terrific chance. The key to her chances is a dry track. And looking at the forecast for Friday and Saturday, it's clear in Melbourne, which is fantastic. So I think we're going to have about 23 degrees, no rain forecast for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. With that in mind, we should be on a good 4 to good 3 track, which is exactly what Fangirl wants. She was dynamic in Sydney, winning the Group 1 King Charles Stakes at weight for age over 1,600 metres. She hasn't been beyond 1850 in her career. She goes to 2,000 metres for the first time, but the way she performed it at Randwick last time, you'd be brave to say that she can't be competitive in this race if she gets the right run, and she might be a flukish chance to storm over the top of them late.
Brent, thanks for joining us here on Racing to Win. Enjoy your Cox Plate Day on Saturday.
No worries, all the best.
Our thanks again to Brent Zerafa, but we need to move on now to Wednesday night and look at the meeting locally with the 8 races. There's a shot of under the lights at Sha Tin. All weather for all 8, 7, 15 the first, and we go through until 10 minutes to 11. The 2 races that we focus on, the Class 2 1650 and the Class 3 1200 races 7 and 8. The 7th has Telecom Fighters. He's won all of his races over 1650, but it's been at Happy Valley. Cheng Cheng Prince is first up on the back of 3 trials. Apache Pass has his first run back from Korea. Youthful Deal up to the 1650 for the first time. True Legends now with Cody Moe, and the tongue tie has been added. Eremo, the blinkers off, the pacifiers with the cowls go back on. Handsome 12, he is a horse that is a 4-time winner course and distance. Rise Brethren wears pacifiers again, and the grey, Nelly Fine, comes to the all-weather for the first time, Nick, and Casper has thrown on the blinkers.
He has indeed, yes. Let's have a look and see where he'll end up, shall we? Well, Telecom Fighters, likely leader, does like to press forward always. There'll be plenty of pace in behind him as well, those chasing him, the likes of True Legend, Youthful Deal, and All for St Paul's is another one who can lead, but we've been more used to seeing him on the turf, Paul. And Cheng Cheng Prince, well, he might be caught a bit deep, and he also loves the surface.
Yeah, he does. Look, everyone's delighted. Another one that likes to go forward. I think they'll go pretty quick. So Cheng Cheng Prince should be able to slot in there. Apache Pass, again, another one who won't be too far away. With all the pace in the race, it should suit it. Every horse will get their chance. Handsome 12 and Nearly Fine should get his chance from the back.
Nick, our first replay is at Happy Valley over the 1,650 metres. A lot of horses come out of this race onto the all-weather. We're going to show the first 200 metres. Which horses, if any, are you taking out of this?
Look, probably take the 3rd place getter, ultimately. That's Rise Brethren. That's him highlighted close towards the inside, just on the outside of Berlin Tango there. Look, I thought this was a sound run from this horse, and Jamie Richards putting pacifiers back on. That's usually a trait that a lot of these trainers will go to for the all-weather. He's only had 1 go on the surface, and I think he certainly ran okay on that occasion behind a decent one by the name of Hava Nagila. So he'd be the horse I'd probably take out of this one, I think. And he's drawn 3, Paul. Keegan de Mello on board, and as we pick them up here once again, he's a fair way back, so he makes up some handy ground.
Yeah, he does. And look, that run that you're talking about when he did run 4th on the all-weather, he was a long way back, and he really looked like he was suited by the ground. I agree with you. I think Rise Brethren is the one to take out of this race. I've got him in as the Quinella horse in this, and I just really like the way he finished off here. So coming back onto the surface, holds no fears. It nearly finds interesting because he's never been on the surface before and he's got blinkers on.
He's a two-time winner over the 1650 around Happy Valley is nearly fine. Youthful Deal, Paul. We just forget that first up run because it was on the turf and he just can't go on that surface, it would appear, anymore. The trials look good. Concerns over the 1650?
Yeah, definitely. Look, he's never been over the 1650 before at all, this horse. So, look, I'm not sure he can run it out with all his pace in the race. I'm taking a set against him. I haven't got him in.
Yeah, look, he's interesting because obviously the trip is the slight concern, but I think there was an issue with where he could go and where the opportunities presented themselves, and this was one that did appear. So, look, you know, he's not without some sort of chance over this trip if he manages to stay it.
He won that trial by a big space, did Youthful Deal. Cheng Cheng Glory has been racing really well, Nick, with back-to-back victories. We saw him wide on the speed map, Cheng Cheng Prince. That hasn't troubled him in the past when he has been out there.
No, it hasn't. And you know what? It might well be that is the place to be. I mean, a lot of jockeys will tell you, I mean, I've never ridden on the surface here, but they will tell you that sometimes being wide is a good place to be. Can go well fresh. Third in this trial, I thought looked okay. And but he's got a new jockey, and Jared Zaney will be on board, Paul.
Yeah, and he's flying at the moment, isn't he? Look, I think this horse is going very well at the moment. The trial was good. He did run second up, fresh up last season, second fresh up last season, then won. So he's a horse that does go really well fresh. He's run second off a rating of 93. He's at this 94 rating. So I think he's possible. He might be a decent price as well.
What about Apache Pass? We haven't spoken about him.
No, well, Apache Pass with him is he just went off the ball a little bit towards the back end of last season. So the jury's out for me on him.
Good course and distance record, loves it round here. Last seen in career, of course, back in grade is going to suit him. But this is a deep race, so he'll know he's had a race.
That was Apache Pass, our final replay, Nick, and we are off to the trials here. We spoke about Rise Brethren at Happy Valley. Handsome 12 has a very quiet trial, but he too loves this surface.
Yeah, look, you know, he's got ticks in a lot of the right boxes, this guy. You've got Zach Purton going on board. He's won 4 times on him. He's 4 from 11 course and distance, and he is a winner second up. This is his second run of the season. He is, however, £11 higher than his last win now, Paul. So he will find this more demanding, but his most recent all-weather run was really good behind a horse we've mentioned already in the shape of Havana Nagila.
Yeah, and the good thing with him is he should get the pace run to suit as well, because he normally likes to get back as well. So I think the race will be run to suit him. So I think he's definitely a chance.
It's a deep race. Few ifs and buts. Horses like Youthful Deal over the 1650 for the first time. Where did you settle in the end?
Going to go with Cheng Cheng Prince fresh up. I think he can run a bit of a race. His pace in the race, he can sit it just in behind it. And Andre Zini's going really well at the moment as a jockey. Rise Brethren only that one start was a really good run from him. Handsome 12 will get the race run to suit. I did put Apache Pass just on a minor line, but the jury is a little bit out with me with him. It's a good race, this one. 2, 11, 9 and 4.
Yeah, it's a really good race, actually. And there's one also we haven't really spoken about that I quite like in this, maybe at a bit of a price, and that's Eremo. Now, he's got some handy form on this surface. John Size, I think his horses are really going to start firing now, and he is fresh up here, can go well fresh, and I haven't minded his trials, so he'll go on top. Over Youthful Deal, I'm confident he will stay. He's got that sort of running style which will allow for him to finish off strongly. Handsome 12 goes in. He, as I say, ticks plenty of the right boxes. And Rise Brethren, happy to give him another chance on the all-weather. 8, 5, 9, 11.
It's a good field, race number 7. That's our first race we preview here on Racing to Win. We'll take a break. Back to look at the last right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Before we have a look at race number 8, it is that time of the show, Paul, where we do the magic reveal. Oh, it goes that way. Magic reveal for the last run reminder.
Son of McPhee, as you can see on screen there, Son of McPhee is what we're going to do this week. Now, they went really slow in this race. Now, the horse isn't a prolific winner. He's only won a couple of times from his 30-odd starts, but you can see him, he goes back as he normally does. He drew wide here. He's actually drawn a lot better on Wednesday night. So I think he's going to be a lot closer in the run. He was wide all the way. They went 1.81 seconds slower than standard. So they absolutely walked this race. He was well back, second last most of the way. And once they got into the straight here, as you can see, he noticeably made up so much ground down the outside against the trend. I thought it was a really good run from him. And he just failed to pick up the eventual winner. So a few more strides, I think he would have had the race run. So with this under his belt, Zach Purton aboard, I think he's going to be tough to beat.
He's had a quiet trial since has Son of McPhee. He's the last run reminder, race 1, number 5. Now, he's not the only last run reminder. He's the one we focus on the show, but Paul provides a comprehensive list. Go to the website, click on horse racing, and then you angle the mouse up to racing info local. You scroll down, you go to reference info, you go across, and you go last run reminder. It's as easy as that. And there'll be a list of horses there. And they've been going well the last couple of weeks, haven't they, Paul? Yeah,
there's been a couple of good winners come out of there. Leslie came out of there, and on the weekend we had a couple as well, which was good.
They are for each and every meeting. But we need to look at race number 8 right now. Final race on the program is a Class 3 over the 1,200 metres. And Super Wind Dragon, 4-time course and distance winner on the class drop. Maniac makes his all-weather debut, as does Pulsar Strider. Self-improvement, last start winner, goes up an extra £1 for it. Galaxy Patch, impressive on debut. Lavero's a newcomer's had 2 trials, raced in Japan, now with the Tony Cruz. Everyone's Victory, 3-time course and distance winner. Packing Bowl has the tongue tie going on, and Shining Fortune, the blinkers off, and the pacifiers with cowls on. Little secret, he's a last run reminder too, isn't he, for the meeting? Shining Fortune.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely is, yep.
Speed map, Vic?
Yes, quite. Let's have a look at the speed map, shall we? And well, here is a look at where the pace might well come from. Packing Bowl, probably the horse that's going to lead them along here. Pulsar Strider won't be too far away. Lavero is an interesting runner from Japan, obviously where he will sit, and Victory Scholars, the widest runner. Self-improvement, Paul, from He's Draw, might just have to follow him along.
Yeah, they'll be looking for some cover, won't he? He might just have to sit wide with cover. Yeah, Lavero, we normally see horses go over to Japan. Here's a Japanese horse that's come here, 1132 pounds. He's had 2 trials to get him ready as well by Lord Kanaloa.
That is the speed map for race number 8. Right now, though, Galaxy Patch is our focus. Nick was at Sha Tin this morning and spoke to the rider of the only start winner, Sha Tin, who rides for Pierre Ong.
Karis, there's some nice rides coming up at the all-weather meeting on Wednesday night for you, and Galaxy Patch, very much an interesting runner, a winner on debut on the turf, but switching to the dirt now.
Yeah, Nick. Well, prior to his first run, he had a trial where he tried really good on all-weather, and I think he handled it pretty well. Of course, with there's not many 1,200 meter on the turf. And it was one that was too quick, too soon for him. So we thought, he did try pretty good on the all-weather. So let's give him a go on it. And but I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to handle the track really well. He's an improving horse.
You sound pretty confident in that respect. Was after that trial, were you and Pierre sort of the thinking that this is a horse that could be quite versatile?
Yeah. Well, the trial showed that he handled it pretty good. So, and he is very versatile, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to running him. I think he's a really smart horse. I think if he gets the right run, he's going to be very competitive.
You've always done quite well on the all-weather in recent seasons, Karis. Your horse has drawn 3 here. Is that a good place to be on the all-weather?
I mean, his first start he did not break too well. But I took him on a jump out. He did jump pretty well. But I think he's a kind of a horse where I would just have to leave him alone wherever he is, and he will do his best when it needs to be.
Just having a look at the race, I guess self-improvement, would he look to be perhaps your biggest danger? I mean, he's had 1 start, 1 win on the all-weather this season.
Yeah, of course he's one of the danger. But the horse that ran second to him came out and did not perform well at Happy Valley. So the form line is okay, but end of the day it's a dirt race, and usually it's the form doesn't stand out. So we'll see. I'm just gonna ride my horse the way I think would be best for him.
Sha Tin there, Galaxy Patch. We're going to stick with Karis now, Nick, and have a look at what he's done over the last 4 meetings. There's 3 winners amongst them, but there's a heck of a lot of top 3 finishes.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if he's not winning, he's been knocking on the door, and as you can see there from 34 rides, decent top 3 percentage there, obviously just shy of 40%. So you can almost set your clock by KT there, Paul. He's usually there or thereabouts.
He definitely is. The horses always run for him, don't they? That's one of the things. And let's have a look. Starship 80, we know he's going to be a fit horse coming into it. I thought Beat Hollow onto the surface for the first time is a good chance. More rise up in distance looks good as well. Man's Day hasn't won for a while, but we know he does like the surface. Ediful, I think, will win. And I think Galaxy Patch will win. So I think he's got a good book.
Yeah, strong book. Very strong book.
Good report for Caris. If you're a follower of the Mauritian Magician, that's Wednesday night's rides for Caris. We move on now, Paul, to a horse that you've had some time for, Self-Improvement. Eurorocks pushed him, but at this stage, Eurorocks' form is still first up twice now.
Yeah, look, I think Self-Improvement's a legitimate chance once again in this. He's a real consistent horse. He's going nicely. Barrier 12, just a little bit of a concern for me from that wide draw. Look, he should be able to get some cover. He just might have to cover a bit of ground. But as you say, Eurorocks really pushed him here, and halfway down the straight I thought Eurorocks was going to go past him. But look, in saying that, Eurorocks coming back into the surface, so give him his chance as well.
Yeah, I think so. He deserves another chance. I think you can forgive him that run at the Valley last time. And also, Caris touched upon the form of that race. O-liner, round 5th, he's won since. So mixed messages from the form, some good, some bad.
All right, that is our first replay. Nick, our second one is Super Wind Dragon. Now, he ends up running 9th on the turf here. He hasn't actually galloped after this, so we've had to go back and show this replay. We'll love the surface switch, won't he, and the class drop?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I mean, he's 4 from 11 over the course and distance, and he's 2 from 4 second up as well. This could be the time to catch him. Look, he has won fresh in the past, but he actually won his first 3 races last season, and he's become a real sort of stalwart on this surface. Absolutely adores it. Forget him on the turf. He's just not as good. So much prefer him under these conditions, Paul.
Yeah, and downgrading is good for him as well. As you say, he won those 3 races, and then he went up in grade and he struggled a little bit. Now he's come back down in grade. This is his right grade. The only little query I had is he's got to give away a bit of weight to some of these young progressive horses.
Matthew Chadwick on board, and Matthew does have a good record on the horse. Now, here is the reason why, Paul. Shining Fortune features in the last run. Reminder, this race was over the 1,000.
Yeah, and he loves the surface too. He's going to come in with the lightweight. I just really like the way he finished this race off. It really caught the eye down the straight 1,000. Coming up to the 1,200 metres, looks ideal. You can see him switching out wide. He ends up running just behind the place getters here. So it was a really good run from him.
Yeah, my only concern, I mean, I totally agree, it was a very good run, given the circumstances. My only concern, he's £8 higher than his last win. He's only had a couple of tries in this grade. For me, probably still needs to prove himself a bit, but there's time yet.
He's a horse that had some bad draws last season. He was able to win from barrier number 1 5 starts ago, and he does draw the rail in the final race. This horse, Nick, Packing Bowl, looked like he was going to set the world on fire following that first win where he beat Golden Samurai. He's plateaued since then, but his all-weather trials have always looked all right.
Yeah, they have, and yeah, I think plateau is probably being kind. I mean, he's really taken a fall from grace. 13th of 14, 10th of 10 last time at Happy Valley. Now all weather, and for me, Paul, crucially, what could be the sort of the saviour for him, if you will, is the tongue tie. I do love an addition of one, and this trial looked pretty good.
He's bred for the surface. He's by deep fields. We've seen those deep fields do well out of a Fastnet Rock mare as well. So there are positives on that stage. He's a bit of a boom or bust horse at the moment. I just wonder if he comes under pressure, what's going to happen.
Well, I think that's the sort of the wind aspect, isn't it? I think with the tongue tie going on, I think that could aid him. If it does aid him, he can more than capably show up.
You sound a little bit more confident than Paul.
I think I might be.
Yeah. All right, we'll find out who appears in Nick's selections after we hear Paul's selections.
Galaxy Patch for me, I thought he was impressive winning on the turf, and prior to that he'd won a really nice trial on the all-weather, so I think the surface will probably even suit him here on the all-weather. Shining Fortune coming back onto the surface. Self-Improvement, he just got a bit of luck from barrier number 12. And Magnac, another one who does work well on the surface, and he's coming onto it from barrier number 5. I think he's going to get a good opportunity. I do like the 5 though, 5, 12, 4, 2.
Yeah, look, I'm with you there. Look, I've got him on top as well here. Galaxy Patch, I think he's a really nice horse. Caris sounded extremely confident to me, so he'll go on top. Over Super Wind Dragon, he's got the big weight, but he should be well suited here. Self-Improvement, I think, has to go in. He looked pretty good there on the all-weather last time. And yes, I have got Packing Bowl in. He may only be in for 4th, but I do like him in this for a place anyhow. 5, 1, 4, 11.
We've seen races 7 and 8 on the show this week. A reminder, all races are available on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for race-by-race analysis. It's almost the end of the show. You know what that means, Paul. What's your best?
Galaxy Patch would be my best. We just talked about him. I think he can win the last race, and I think he's a very exciting horse. Let's just have a look at that, remind us of that all-weather trial. We've just seen his win on the turf. You can just see he's really pushed round free here, but he really wanted to win this trial, and I just really like the way he sort of accelerated that last 50 metres. So he sort of ran away. You can see him carrying on there after the trial had finished. Chang Ching Prince in race number 7. He's drawn 12, but he'll get a bit of cover. I think he can be the long shot there. And we'll do the play earlier in the card in race 3 with More Rice up and trip, Mission Bravo from the front and Asian 1 on the surface. QQP 6, 7, 11.
Yeah, best bet for me coming up race 5, number 9, Cool Blue. On his best form, he's definitely a player in this. Zach Purton rides for trainer Frankie Law. Now, here is his most recent run. Now, he's finished off really strongly here, certainly caught the eye. You can see there he's had to switch. He's not had the rub of the green entirely throughout his career. There are a few occasions where he's sort of met a bit of traffic in the run, but can usually finish off strongly. And if he lets down with a run like this late, I think he's more than capable. Has gone close off this mark in the past. And the long shot, race 1, number 3, Nice Birdie. Probably needs to bounce back from some relatively poor efforts, but he's got a couple of pounds with Jerry Chow coming off, and he's a chance. And the play, race 8, numbers 1, 4, and 5 for me in the last.
We will go race 4, number 8, Red Desert. Brenton Abdallah combines with John Size as they did with Sight Success on the weekend. Red Desert loves the surface. Noir Riders trialled up really well on the surface too. Draws barrier number 1, Keegan DeMello, a double on the weekend. And the play race 4, 2-man star 4, stand up in 8 Red Desert in a QQP 2, 4 and 8. Diary time, what is upcoming for racing in Hong Kong? Of course, Sha Tin Wednesday night. Happy Valley race on Sunday, trackside live from 12:15. There's a simulcast race, so an earlier start. And then back to Happy Valley on Wednesday, the 1st of November. So a lot of Happy Valley action coming up, Nick, after we go to Sha Tin Wednesday.
Indeed, yeah. Bit upside down this week, really, isn't it? But we'll enjoy it nevertheless, and looking forward to the Valley on the weekend.
Yeah, good race there with Nervous Witness versus Seasons Wit. Carroll Street having another go at the Valley. And WizKid, we know he likes the Valley.
And plenty of big jackpots too.
Yeah, some good ones coming up.
That's coming up Sunday, but we're off to Sha Tin. We'll see you for the first on Wednesday night at 7:15.